Ladies and gentlemen, the Grand Chess Tour held in Croatia is back. Okay, we have a rapid and a blitz portion of the tournament. 10 of the best players in the world going at it. And my word, day one did not disappoint. Okay, Gukesh, the current classical world champion, and Magnus Carlsen dominating the field on day one. Both playing 3 games, both getting 2 wins and a draw, okay? I think they are tied for first place with Jan Christoph Duda and Wesley So it's a very strong bunch at the top. Today I'm going to show you some wins from Gukesh, some wins from Magnus. We're going to review how things went. If you enjoyed this review, smash the like button, subscribe. Magnus and Gukesh is being played today, so that video will go out at some point. Like, comment, subscribe, let's jump straight into this. Okay, so game number 1 I am going to be showing you is the reigning world champion Gukesh going up against his Indian counterpart Praggnanandhaa. Now, both very, very strong top super GMs. I mean, this is like the Battle of India. I mean, obviously Arjun Gaisi is up there as well, but this is an unbelievable matchup. And the game starts with f3 from Prague. We get d5 taking the centre from Gukesh, g3 and a bishop to g4, like immediately targeting the knight. It's very clear Prague wants to Theanketo his light square bishop. We get bishop g2. I mean, not to say I called it or anything, but, you know, I kind of just called that. c6 just like clamping down the centre. h3 kicking the bishop back, but Gukesh is not a coward, okay? He's not going to go back here. He's going to keep the tension, okay? d4 is played. We get e6, again you set up like this pyramid structure if you are Gukesh, and this just looks so strong. I mean, you get this in a lot of like semi-Slav setups, don't you? But, I mean, this is just gorgeous. Okay, we get short castles, knight f6, c4, so Prague obviously wants to challenge in the centre. Like, you look at Gukesh's position, what has he got going for him? It's a very strong centre. So Prague says, I'm going to immediately challenge that. We get bishop e7, preparing castling, knight jumps to c3, and we get short castles. So, out the opening, I don't know, Gukesh has done a good job equalising. There's nothing really of note. I mean, everyone's just developing normally. Knight jumps towards e5, very attacking move. Knight jumps in to sort of say to that knight, okay, are you going to take me? What's your play here now, sir? Like, what's the plan now? What's the plan? We get g4, kicking the bishop back. So obviously the knight takes, and Gukesh takes with the h-pawn. Now, I don't know about you guys, right? But I love taking with the f-pawn, okay? Always opening up the rook onto this diagonal, especially if you still have a light square bishop in the game that could maybe later on put some sort of pressure on. But these guys are super GMs, okay? They're never going to allow that. And you should only ever really take with the h-pawn if your opponent doesn't have the rook on the h-file anymore, and if the queen can't get there to double stack with it, because there is now no threat on this h-file. I mean, Prague's castle, the queen can't get over there, so the queen comes to d3. Repositions its diagonal, says, one day I'm going to be attacking your king. We get bishop to d6, rook d1. Also, look how quickly Gukesh has been playing this game. Like, he still has 25 minutes on the clock. I'm pretty sure you start with 25 minutes and there's an increment for every move. Gukesh down to below 20, so clearly out of prep. Bishop comes to g5, attacking the knight. Queen moves out the way. Doesn't want anything to do with that pin. We get bishop d2. And just centralising the rooks from Gukesh. I mean, this is masterful. c5 is the first mistake of the game. Now, why that is? Oh my god, it's because... Oh my god, look at this. Oh my god, Gukesh finds it. Bishop h2, okay? King has to slide this way. And then there's this move e5. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Because if you take this bishop, I'll just show you guys, then you take on e5 with check, attacking the knight. Okay, so let's just say you go back to g1, you take here, bishop will probably take, and then, I don't know, probably knight e5 or something? Or, well, knight takes on c5 is obviously a move, but, I mean, this is just masterful play from Gukesh. But obviously we don't reach this position. The king doesn't take the bishop. Just e3 is played. And then knight to f8 repositioning. Probably looking to get on e6 to sort of, I don't know, just threaten this d4 square even more. We get knight e2, which is a big mistake because of the move knight e6 apparently. So literally this idea that we just spoke about, putting as much pressure on d4 as possible. And Gukesh does actually play knight e6, and then bishop c3 is played. Well, now there's this move e4. e4 is not played, but I can understand why that's an issue. I mean, the queen has to move from this diagonal, so it's no longer that much of a threat over here. But we get e takes on d4, bishop takes back because it obviously still wants to put pressure on this diagonal. And then we get bishop e5, challenging the bishop, b4, and then a5. I watched a seminar on chess by Benjamin Feingold, okay? Most of you will know who that is if you're watching my channel. If you don't, definitely check him out. It's really good for beginners, so obviously that's great for me because I am a moron. But he says, if white ever plays b4, always play a5. This might be one of the very rare examples where you just cannot play a5 here. And that's because let's move a3. Like, if you take, you're opening up the rook, and this pawn is just going to take back and just reinforce this pawn. So it's really difficult to challenge. So rook comes over to a8, knight shuffles, queen moves, we get a bunch of trades in the middle, rook goes to the b file, knight jumps forwards, b5 is played. This is very attacking from Prague. The knight jumps forwards, a4 cementing that pawn in, double stack with the queen, queen is shuffling. Then we get queen e7, okay? This pawn is very weak. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work that out. This pawn is very weak. B takes on c6, B takes on c6, and then the rook slides over. So we get queen c5, picking up a free pawn. Gukesh is up a pawn. At the Super GM level, this is a big deal. At my level, doesn't matter. Gukesh also down to a minute and a half. And he blunders. I mean, I don't understand the thought process here because the queen just takes, and when the bishop takes, there's knight e5. There's knight e5. So yes, your queen is hanging, but Prague, so is yours. I mean, Gukesh would have seen all this from a mile away. He is known for calculating literally everything. Queen goes to d1. Queen goes to d7. Everything is safe. Rook takes, f4, knight c6, g5. And then do you know what the icing on the cake is? Bishop d4. Bishop d4. Because if you take, we take here. And we're just up a full piece. We're just up a full piece. Very unfortunate from Prague. It was a great game. He just got so low on time and it was so difficult to calculate. So clearly Gukesh more prepared in the opening, caught Prague off guard. What a game to start things off. But coming into game number 2, guys, we're going to have to wait for Magnus, so stick around for the Magnus. We have Gukesh, the reigning classical world champion, going up against Alireza Firouzja, the reigning bullet world champion. Alireza Firouzja, one of the favourites for the rapid and blitz portion of this tournament, by the way. Gukesh, not so much. He tends to struggle in lower time controls. Alireza, a big favourite. Game starts with knight f3, so a ready opening from our main man Gukesh. We get knight f6, g3, g6. It's a very symmetrical opening. Bishop g2, bishop to g7. This is where I'd like reach over the board and offer a draw. I'd be like, I can't be bothered to play this. You're just going to copy me. c4 is played. So what is this? This is like I don't even know. This is like some sort of English opening now, isn't it? I have no idea. But we get short castles, knight to c3, d6 and d4. So this almost looks like a Catalan setup now from Gukesh. So we started with this just fianchetto kingside, then went into some sort of English. Now we look like we're in some sort of Catalan position where you've played c4 and d4 and your light square bishop is already fianchettoed and you're looking to castle. I mean, it's a very strong opening, so no objections here. Knight to d7, we get short castles, e5 lashing out in the centre, e4 lashing out even further, e takes, knight takes, rook goes over to e8, h3 is played, so this is just stopping the knight jumping in, I guess. Knight goes to c5, we get rook e1 reinforcing the pawn. I mean, this just looks terrifying, doesn't it? There's just so much pressure on this pawn, but there's also so much defense, like the bishop, the knight, the rook. Like there's a lot. h6 is played from Alireza, so still just copying Gukesh's moves. I respect it. f3 cementing this pawn in the middle. Knight h5. Knight d to e2, so looking to reroute the knight. This is a mistake because of bishop takes here apparently. But when the knight takes back, Okay, there's this move g5. Okay, so just clearly trying to expand down the king side. Okay, didn't see that, and the knight is no longer on e2 to defend this side. Okay, bishop e6, g4 attacking the knight. Knight obviously has to go to f6. b3 cementing this like connect free we've got here. So Gukesh with two great moves in a row. h5, bishop g5, thrown all the advantage away. Bishop d7 is a miss. What were you actually meant to play? Let's have a look at this. Engine's kind of undecided on either taking this pawn or playing the move c6, which I guess is preparing d5. But bishop d7's played. Queen is lifted to d2, so probably looking to trade off this bishop with like bishop h6 or something. But we get knight e6, bishop drops back, h takes back. Knight is rerouting. Rooks come into the centre, just always looks so crushing in a GM game, doesn't it? I mean, it's absolutely terrifying, this battery. Also, guys, I got a nice hot cup of tea with me. Comment down below what drink you're watching this video with. And if you're not having a drink with a video, what is your problem? You're a psychopath. a6, c5, bishop to b5, attacking the knight. It's also a beautiful diagonal, but what were you meant to play? Absolutely hates that. It just, wow, it wants d takes. Opening up this d file, which looks very scary. I mean, that's not a human move, is it? No human is going to allow the rook and queen battery to be opened up. But we get takes, knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and we don't get a queen trade. Queen goes to a5. Queen goes to d2. Queen a3. Knight c3. Rook comes over, so the knight blocks. We get knight f6, challenging this knight. I mean, this looks very scary. Like, one wrong move, and Gukesh is losing his queen. Queen b4, offering this queen trade. And you actually can't take this pawn because of rook d2. Oh, but you can because of a5. Oh my god, what a move! But that isn't played, unfortunately. As much as I would have liked to have seen that line, that's not played. Queen b4, we get queen to b2. Rook comes over, and then a taking of the pawn. Knight jumps forwards. Rook c1, kicking the queen all over the gaff. We get a trade in the centre. Oh my god, bishop f1, such a gangster move. Like, where is this queen going? Rook b5 attacks the queen. Oh, there's an intermezzo check. God, this is too much for my little brain to even calculate. Gukesh is currently up 2 points of material because he has taken a rook instead of a knight. Or instead of a bishop, sorry. Now he's up a pawn. The rooks are skewered, though. The rook steps forwards. Oh my god, this is like a real clinical game, isn't it? I would have blundered everything by now. Oh, block with the bishop. That's a gangster move. Oh my god, yeah. And how are you stopping any of this? Like, this is absolutely terrifying. Giving more checks. Here comes the bishop. Rook b2 check. Okay, we get a shuffle of pieces. The king steps forwards. The king is marching its way up the board. Oh my god. Wait, why couldn't you have gone... Hang on, I want to look at something quickly. Why couldn't you have gone king here? That looks a lot safer than where Gukesh put his king, but what the hell do I know? What does the engine want? The engine does want king c7, but that's fine. It's like the most minor difference in the world. You're winning so much. And here, oh my god, we get resignation. Oh my god, because they're after rook b2, the king goes this way. Rook b6, you take. Knight, this is just checkmate. Because the pawn guards this square. Oh my god. Gukesh bullying the bullet world champion. And guys, I made you guys a promise. The big dog. The reason you're all here. Magnus Carlsen. Wesley So. I mean, like, 10 years ago, this was like a matchup of 1 and 2. I mean, where did Wesley go? Wesley go, Wesley So. You see what I did there? I wish he was more active, man. He's such an icon to the chess world. A lot of people have him up there as one of the best players to never win the World Championship, along with like Levon Aronian, but that's besides the point. Knight f3, d5, c4, so this is, oh my god, it's a Reti Gambit. We like that from Magnus. Just confusing matters. Looking to fianchetto the light square bishop, and now this is like a Catalan again, just without d4 this time. Takes. We get our first trade in the centre of the board. Okay, we're getting shuffling. Rook comes to d1. Bishop Theanketos. The bishops are now like staring at each other. It's like when neighbours are both doing gardening at the same time. You give a little wave over the fence. You know what I mean? We get rook. That's clearly a bishop, Max. Bishop c1. Rook comes over to the centre. Bishop attacks the queen. Hello there. Knight jumps forwards and we get this trade. This rook is being hit twice, so probably want to play like f6, guard that. Bishop slides back and we get a rook trade. Now, I would not have played this rook trade if I was Wesley So, but this is why I'm not a super GM. Because I've always been told, right, remember, after you take their rook, they take back and now have this open d-file. They've claimed it. It's their own, okay? But clearly it works for Wesley So. Rook goes to d8, so immediately challenging exactly what I said because I'm a moron. Queen takes back, queen d8, and we don't get a trade. Psych! We do get a trade. Queen takes on d3 and the pawn takes. Now, we all know Magnus, okay? He's an endgame genius. Currently, in this position, right, neither side has a weakness. Okay, there's no isolated pawns. There's nothing, okay? The one minor advantage Magnus Carlsen has in this position, do you know what it is? The bishop pair, okay? If you go down into an endgame against Magnus and he has the bishop pair, you're opening yourself up to a loss, okay? Like, Magnus is never going to lose this game. There is zero fear of a loss here. The worst case scenario for Magnus is a draw. The worst case for Wesley So in this game is a loss. We get knight to d8. Not a bishop trade though, keeps the bishop pair on the board. Wesley wanted to immediately get rid of it. Magnus said no. h5. King is walking towards the centre of the board. This bishop cutting off the squares from the king so the knight blocks. f4 challenge in the centre and we get our first trade. Now, very important, Wesley So has a weakness. Okay, and you might be wondering, why is this e-pawn a weakness? Because it's an isolated pawn. There are no pawns on the f or d file to reinforce it, so it can only be protected now by major pieces, whereas it can be attacked with minor pieces. Minor pieces, pawns. Bishop b2. Knight to b5. And then we just get an absolute pawn armada from Magnus. I mean, this is terrifying. This is absolutely terrifying. g6. Also, look at the clocks. Magnus up 2 minutes. That's very helpful. Knight d6. And then c4 stops the c5 pawn from pushing any further. King goes to f6. But remember, this bishop is doing a beautiful job of cutting off the squares for the king to progress forwards. In endgames, you want to push the pawns with your king. Magnus is saying, no, I'm not allowing you to bring your king forwards. This pawn blocks this square. The bishop is blocking all of these squares. It's gorgeous. b4 is played. Bishop drops back. e4. We don't get a trade. Important to note, don't trade there because if you take... Sorry, let me go back. If you take, Wesley takes with check. And it's a bit unpleasant, okay? The engine doesn't care, but it's a bit unpleasant. So now when we take, Magnus takes without a check, but also with a threat on this g6 pawn. How do you address that? Bishop e4 offers a trade. Magnus says, no, I'm keeping my bishop pair. Now both of them have isolated pawns. We get bishop c1, bishop e6, bishop e3, we get bishop takes, and before Magnus takes back, he puts his bishop on a more desirable diagonal. a6 is played, then he takes, king steps forwards, king goes to e3. Very important move for some reason. Knight f5 check, king steps forwards again. Magnus picks up another pawn. So although Wesley was up a pawn, it's now completely equal and Magnus is +1 on the old eval bar. Bishop b5. I mean, nothing is progressing on this side of the board. It's clearly going to be over here. Or is it? We get bishop e4. We don't get a trade yet. We just get a shuffling of bishops. At this point, I was thinking, oh no, it's going to be a draw. Magnus doesn't know why he's got an advantage. Bishop b3 check. All of these squares cut off from the king. It's very difficult for Wesley to put his king where he wants it. Gives another check. This bishop now guarding so many squares. I mean, the king cannot come towards this king side of the board. We get bishop d3. King steps forwards again. This pawn very, very weak. Check. Shuffles back. Steps forwards again. Important not to take. Cut off more squares from the king. Don't make Wesley's life easy. I mean, Wesley's king is going nowhere. Like, what can you even do here? There's just nothing you can do. Shuffling of pieces, takes, knight steps back. This pawn is so weak, and it's impossible to defend because of where Magnus has positioned his king. Like, the bishop cannot ever come here, because Magnus's bishop is here for 1, but the king got here first. Very important. Bishop e5, and now you trade. Now you trade, because now you can also take the pawn, your upper pawn. Your upper free pawn. Magnus just pushing this pawn all the way, and he takes another pawn. How does he do it every time? How? He's up 2 pawns against Wesley So from a completely equal position. How the hell does he do it every time? Bishop a6, and when the bishop goes back, there's no point in carrying on for Wesley. He just resigns because this pawn's going to push all the way. And if you get your bishop over here to defend, well, uh-oh, spaghetti-o, this one's going to promote. Your bishop can't be in 2 places at once. Unbelievable play from Magnus. Absolutely unbelievable. Both Magnus and Gukesh dominated this tournament on day 1, I should say. Day 1, anything can happen. Magnus versus Gukesh is today, so look out for a video. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, legends. Subscribe.